Lee Kuan Yew's government was the war on graft that he waged for Singapore to be where it is. And that seems to be a far-fetched dream here in Kenya. No major successful corruption case in a court of law since the agency was formed. And clearly you can see, even through the Auditor General's report, how hard-earned money by the Kenyan people is siphoned and stolen by those in leadership. That's two. Have we achieved that as Singapore did? You mentioned the housing levy, about how we want to copy the Singapore model, but are we there in terms of our fight against graft? And then two, when you talk about injustice, I mean, as a professional, I am to ask the questions and I need clear answers and I'm substantial in it. And when Kenyans pay taxes, they expect the government to create the housing, to address the housing problem. Therefore, why then do you expect the very same Kenyans who pay taxes to be deducted for the government to address another problem because they're already paying taxes? Why not utilize that money properly to address the problem you're raising, for example, like housing?
Okay, first of all, just correction. The housing levy is not a tax. It is a saving. It is money you will have access to in 7 years, in whichever format is provided for you. So first, use the correct word. It is a levy, which is a saving. In fact, it's not going to be managed by the Treasury. It will be managed the way our pensions are managed by the various companies that are professionals in doing that. That's number one. Number two, I agree. And in fact, I'm happy for Kenyans to raise the issue to say we are paying, but we want to know how our money is going to be used. We want to know that it will not be lost in corruption. That's entirely legitimate, and I'm happy that that conversation is being held by Kenyans, and we must continue. I've seen on several occasions the president has been taken on that. I saw it when you interviewed him on the media, and he said, I will take personal responsibility. And for me, what I say, when somebody has pledged to do something, don't start doubting them. Give them the benefit of doubt. So it's okay. What we say is we'll watch this space. And as parliamentarians, we're going to be vigilant on it. Because the Kenya Kwanza Manifesto plan also talks, is high on corruption. So give it a chance so that if you fail, if it doesn't work, then we can take on the head of state and say, you promised us. You said you'd deal with corruption. I'm happy that ministers are coming to parliament because it will give us a chance to be able to deal with that. So yes, corruption is a legitimate issue. The president has said he will take personal responsibility to ensure that no money will be lost through corruption. We've seen some tough measures taken recently with the firing of PS and so on. So what I plead with Kenyans, let's not be pessimists and say, actually, let's stay paralyzed and let's stay so poor, live in the slums because we are afraid of corruption. And because we do not want to pay the 2,500. Wake up. Something has to be done. Even you, I'm sure you've gotten into some investments, grow yourself. When people like me, I know, when I bought my first home, I could hardly buy food, because I had to make the payments. Today I own a beautiful home. Why? I made the sacrifice at that time. So as Kenyans, we must collectively agree, let's make the painful decisions now. Okay. And the other thing about the imported furniture, in the housing, it's not just about housing. It's a two-pronged thing. We're not only providing housing, it's about jobs. It's going to be in that building site, the houses that are going to come up in Kibra, the women there will be selling food to the workers who are building, the builders. There will be plumbers. There will be electricians. There will be watu wa kubeba simiti, watu wa kubeba mawe, watu wa kukoroga. So you must understand it's a whole economic ecosystem. Right. So let us not be simplistic. Yeah. So imagine if houses are coming up in every county. Do you know how many jobs we'll be creating? Because every day we are complaining about jobs. Honorable Mbui, my friend here, has been on the street for Maandamano, and they say they want the cost of living to come down. Here is a finance bill that will bring down the cost of living. And it is not instant, but it's a journey to that.
And we'll talk about largely the cost of living crisis in the country.
So it doesn't happen from the street, it happens from deliberate fiscal
policy is the question, and the ecosystem that you have mentioned. Yes,